Hi guys, Chris here, and welcome to my channel. Today I thought I would do a tag video, and what better tag video to start with than the Booktube Newbie Tag. I got my questions here on my laptop, so if you see me looking that way, that's because I'm looking at the questions. And let's get started. Question number 1. Why did you start this channel? I started this channel because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I have really bad anxiety, so sometimes communicating with people can be extremely difficult. And I thought this would be a good way to communicate with people who have similar interests as I do, as I found it is far easier to talk to people who like the things that you like, especially when you're going into that conversation knowing that they're into the same things you are. Question 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? This is a tricky question because I feel like most people have probably come up with everything under the sun. I know I can bring my own unique perspective on things, as there is only one me, so I have unique ideas and opinions, and I'm going to like the books that I like and dislike the books that I don't, and I can bring my own unique perspective on that, but otherwise I'm not sure what else I will be able to bring. But I hope to come up with some stuff as I go along and I get more comfortable here. Question 3. What are you most excited about for this new channel? For this, I would have to say getting to interact with other people who like to talk about books. I've never really had anybody in my real life who really loves reading the types of books that I do. My mom adores reading and she devours books almost as quickly as I do, but our book tastes rarely line up. She is much more into like the detective mystery series. She really likes getting autopsies and stuff like that. She tends to like books that are very similar to TV shows like Bones, which she's actually read that book series, or like your CSIs, your Law and Orders, those types of shows. And I am far more into fantasy, which my mom would not touch. So basically, I'm really excited to interact with other people who are into the types of books that I am. Question 4. Why do you love reading? I love reading because it helps me escape reality. I love being able to dive into a new book or slip into an old familiar series and get to escape to a different world for a little while. With my anxiety, sometimes the best thing I can do for it is to get out of my own head. So reading is a wonderful way to kind of shake that up. And this year especially, I've looked for that break from what is going on in the real world. Question 5. What book or series got you into reading? For this, it's difficult because I have been reading since I was like 4. And before that, like, my parents read to me, and I'm the baby of the family, and my sister is 11 years older than me, and my brother is 15 years older than me. So I was constantly being read to by somebody when I was little. So I can't really say a specific book or series that got me into reading. I know that when I was younger, one of the series I really loved was the Ramona series by Beverly Cleary. So that was a big one for me. I also really liked the My Teacher is an Alien series by Bruce Coville. I also really love the Shiloh series by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. Those are just a few that come to mind when I think of being in grade school and books that I would reread over and over and over again. But I think I've always loved reading, and it's always been something I've loved to do. Question 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? One of the first things that comes to mind is, do you ever get used to watching yourself on camera when you have to edit your videos? Because that is one of the tricky things for me. I have a hard time watching myself, and I think it's because I tend to be overly critical of myself because of my anxiety, because I worry that I'm going to look foolish, or that I sound foolish, or that I don't quite say something the way I mean to. Another question I would ask is, how do you talk about sequels without completely spoiling the books that came before? As I have noticed that I've been reading a lot of sequels lately, and I feel like I end up repeating myself by saying over and over again, I can't really say much about this book because I would be spoiling the other books in the series. So those would be the two questions that come to mind when I think of what I wish I could ask other booktubers. If any of you watching have any advice on those, please comment in the comment section down below. I could really use some advice on those. Question 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be hardest to overcome? For me, one of mine is my anxiety, because when I'm super anxious, there's no way you're going to get me to sit down and film. I'm not going to want to sit in front of a camera. I'm certainly not going to want to watch myself so that I can edit my videos. I also have a hard time sometimes articulating when I'm anxious. Like, the words are there in my head, they just don't want to come out. So that's going to be the hardest one. That and getting into a schedule. I think that would be a big help, is trying to get on a schedule, and that is going to be, again, very hard for me with my anxiety. So basically my anxiety is going to be my biggest obstacle to overcome. Question 8. When did you start reading? I basically answered this in the question about what book or series got me into reading, but basically my entire life. I was read to, and the moment I learned how to do it on my own, I was reading on my own. So as far back as I can remember. Question 9. Where do you read? I mostly read in my bed, in my bedroom, typically with several cats sprawled across my bed keeping me company. So yeah, the main answer is in my bedroom. I do occasionally read in the living room or like outside on my porch, but 97% of the time it's in my bed, in my bedroom. And lastly, what kinds of books do you like to read? I read a little bit of everything for the most part. I prefer fantasy. That seems to be my go-to genre, though I've found in the past few years that I really do like historical fiction as well. I'll read middle grade, adult, young adult. The age category doesn't really matter to me. For me, a good book is a good book regardless of who it's written for. The things I tend to shy away from is horror. I'm not into scary books. That is not my idea of a good time. I definitely don't want books that may give me nightmares or make it hard for me to sleep. So yeah, I tend to avoid horror. And I also don't like romance books that get steamy. I don't need to have a bunch of steamy scenes between the two characters. That will turn me off to a book. I'm not into that at all. I like my romances to be more fluffy or have a lot of drama. I don't need to have like steamy scenes. Other than that, I'm pretty down to read just about anything. That's the end of this tag. If you guys are still watching, leave me a thumbs up emoji in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!